before I've started recording. Oh, hell has frozen over.
Oh no.
Right, so hello, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do? Welcome to our second episode of talking about the Zactus League.
Is that what we're going with?
I mean, we're calling it Justice League. I feel, Zack
True,
Snyder's
true.
Justice League is a bit of a mouthful, so Zactus League just kind of even things out.
That's fair. That's fair.
That
Hi,
is-
everyone.
Hello.
Dawn of the Zactus League. Oh my god. Yes, Chapter 3, and if we have time, Chapter 4 too. Who knows? Who knows? But all building up towards the 18th. But before that, David, Amy, how do you do?
I'm
Pretty
good.
good, thanks.
A little bit groggy because I fell asleep
Oh my god. Well,
and nobody woke me up.
the one time you need the cat.
One time.
Oh well. But yes, as is tradition, as they like to call it in Spain. what what did you guys watch this past week?
Oh, I haven't actually watched a lot. I've been playing Life is Strange 2 because I never finished it because I saw there's a new one out. So I was like, I should probably finish 2 before I play that one.
Wait, like a full-on third one, or like a DLC for the second one,
No,
like they
a
did
full-on full-on third one. It's gonna be called Life is Strange Colors, and the protagonist, she can like tell people's like emotions based on like the color around them.
Oh my god, is she just a sentient mood ring?
Yeah, basically. That's what I got from the trailer anyway.
Oh, fair enough.
Question is it a mood ring or a Green Lantern ring? Or just a lantern ring?
Don't know.
I mean, you never know. You never know.
Making
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
Do you think
I
she-
mean, technically, I watched my cat film.
True, true. Einstein.
Yeah. I felt like everyone in uni was judging me while I made that. While that was being played
Oh,
anyway.
Well, screw them, I say.
I thought it was really good.
Thank you. Well, I felt like that. It doesn't necessarily mean people were judging me. I was just like, oh, I feel uncomfortable.
I mean,
But I did it.
to be fair, I think we all felt that way when we were screening our films in uni, so
Yeah, true.
like you're
True.
like hyper aware that everyone's watching your work and you just don't know how to feel about it. So
Yeah. I was just like, the quality looks so much worse than everybody else's. Like, even people who shot on film, like on phones, the quality looked way better than my film, and I was just like, ah.
well, I mean, as long as you take it as a learning experience, that's all you can ask for, really.
This is true.
Yeah.
I've learned I need a new camera, so I'm gonna buy one.
Sounds like a
Nice.
plan.
Yeah.
Right. So, as you have been playing Life is Strange Part 2, do you like it? Because I've only ever played the first one.
Yeah, I like it. It's very different to the first one. This one has a lot more gut punches and like a lot more heavy themes in it.
Oh, so is the second one lighter than school abductions and sadistic
Um,
teachers?
But no, in this one you have like racial profiling,
Oh, okay.
characters on the run from the police,
Oh, so Friday afternoon then.
powers you gotta hide. So like, not necessarily lighter, but just different.
Oh, so
Still very dark.
kind of like an X-Men game, but narrative story, like point and click narrative, but with X-Men, kind of.
A little bit, kinda.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I've not really watched anything. I've just kind of not been in the mood. I think after Justice League, I was just like, I need a break from films.
Can't say I blame you there.
Neither do I.
My dad watched half of it with me because he dropped Mikey up from school and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm watching Justice League." And he was like, "Okay." Watched a bit of it and he was like, "I'm gonna watch this." And I'm like, "You do realize it's 4 hours, right?" And I was like, "You're gonna have to watch Batman versus Superman." And he's like, "I'll do that." And then he's like, "Do you want to watch it with me?" And I'm like, "I'm not watching this film again." Thank you for the offer, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool, cool. Well, that's one more into the cult of League. What
Sure,
about
you
you?
want to call it a cult?
No, well, I guess I would be in that cult because I do like these films, despite my criticisms. So make of that what you will. But yeah, David, what about you? What have you watched?
Well, I've watched the trailer to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad
Oh,
countless times.
I'm so excited. I was like 6 days after my birthday. I'm like, yes, please.
Nice. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. Loving the look of it, and I love that Sylvester Stallone is voicing King Shark.
I know.
That 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 is just amazing in my mind.
Cena in it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's playing Peacemaker, and then you've got loads of great actors involved in the project
It's a
as well.
shockingly star-studded cast.
Yeah, and there's people that we know are in the film but don't have roles announced, like Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
So it's going to be full of surprises, and I just can't wait for what's in store in August.
Me too. I'm excited.
And another highlight for me is seeing Peter Capaldi as the Thinker as well. Like, I'm just like, that's amazing. So I can't wait to see what he does in the film. But yeah, apart from that, I've started the X-Files. Never seen it before.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much knew nothing about it going in, apart from it being like sci-fi and it starred Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson or Gillian Anderson?
I've always said Gillian, but I could be wrong.
Got ya. But yeah, apart from that, I basically knew nothing about it. But I'm 20 episodes in.
Oh, you just started and you're 20 episodes in.
I'm definitely liking it then.
It's like my type of show.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, really enjoying that. I also watched a few of Amy's recommendations. Moxie and Malcolm and Marie.
Oh,
I thought that Malcolm and Marie had two great central performances at the heart of it. And I found the drama of the film interesting, but I wasn't like, I wasn't hooked by it, if you get me.
yeah, I get what you mean.
But I thought the actors did a great job. John David Washington and Zendaya, I thought they were great. And I also really enjoyed Moxie. It was really empowering film. I liked all the different characters involved in the film, except for the ones that you're obviously meant to dislike, for very good reasons. I thought the cast were great, and it was really nice seeing people like Amy Poehler and Clark Gregg and Ike Barinholtz in the film. So yeah, I really enjoyed Moxie. I thought it was a nice little film.
Me too.
Sweet.
At the ending, though, I just thought it stopped. I was like, I want more. Give me more.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. But yeah,
Lovely.
that's about it for me.
You know, I don't know if it's a matter of age or not, but I was watching a few episodes of X-Files when it was still airing, and that just depresses me slightly.
Oh no.
Well, the original run was 1993 to 2001, from what I'm reading.
Yes.
So, wow.
I remember a few of the episodes. They creeped me out when I was like, you know, a little gremlin. But Yeah.
It's one of those shows that I always heard of, but it was one of those where it was kind of before my time. So it was like I was kind of just getting into stuff like Goosebumps when I started to hear about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I went the
I've
complete
not watched
opposite.
it either.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No, I was just
I was
gonna.
just saying, I've not watched it either.
Okay. See, I went the complete opposite way. I went from X-Files to Goosebumps, and then it's like, oh, you went from the hardcore stuff to the lighter stuff. Okay. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's one of those things where I was free when the original run ended, so it's like I wouldn't even have been able to compute what was on screen.
That's mental.
Whereas by the time that I started hearing things like the X-Files, I was like getting into Goosebumps at like 5 or something. So
cool, cool. Well, as far as things that I've seen, because the quote-unquote final episode of Attack on Titan is supposed to be coming out in winter now, I guess I have to wait. Fucking idiots.
No.
Like, how dare they? But yeah, I caught up to episode 15 of Attack on Titan, and I was engaged.
Cool.
It's very rushed. I wish they'd take their time a little bit more, but get what I can take what I can get, really. At least it's still very engaging, so I'm glad that's there. I watched The Fifth Element with my dad the other day, and holy crap, that is a bonkers film.
it is, isn't it?
Definitely.
Because I hadn't seen it in like over 10 years, and I just don't remember much of it. But then when I watched it, I was like, holy crap, this is mental. I love it. Like, it makes no sense. It knows what it is, and it has fun in it. I'm down.
Good.
And then there was, because we got Sky Cinema for Zactus League, we got the catalog as well, and Legend of the Guardians was there, so I thought, oh, let's watch that little owl film again. And I'm not gonna lie, it's probably Zack Snyder's best film.
I agree. I agree.
I haven't watched it in a while, so I'd have to rewatch it to comment. But I'll take your word.
The pacing is awful, but you know what?
No.
It's got characters, it's fun, it looks incredible, and it's coherent, which I'm all for.
And who would have thought you'd say badass owls?
I know, Jesus.
Coherent works.
Oh, it's like when the bare minimum is it was coherent and I loved it. It's like, oh my god, like standards. But and I'm also on chapter 13 or 14 of Final Fantasy 7, and
Nice.
thank God the characters are likable, because my god, the game is devolving, and I'm not. It's becoming like the ludonarrative dissonance is peaking, because I'm on the clock because I'm supposed to be saving Aerith.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm just doing push-ups in the gym, going, "I'm gonna beat you, bro," and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a weird game.
It does that a fair bit. You're like, I'm supposed to be worried about someone, and you're just like, it's fine. Go off, chill. Go ride some chocobos.
Yeah, let's do squats, and it's like,
have a cup of tea. Get a massage.
It is a mental, like, game design is all over the place, combat's all over the place, but the characters are so likable. I'm okay with it. Oh, The Last of Us Part 2 could learn something from this game. It's okay to have wonky mechanics, just make it fun.
True.
But, well, I guess we should talk about chapter 7. Oh, chapter 3 rather. Chapter 7, we're skipping.
Jumping ahead.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna do this Dr. Manhattan style, going back and forth all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to.
No.
Chapter 3. Let's do it.
Right, so this chapter is called beloved mother, a beloved son.
It's
Did you guys have any idea what this meant?
no.
I had the feeling that it was to do with Vic Stone and his mother.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
I was just like, okay, is either gonna involve Martha or maybe Batman reliving. I was like, if you show me his parents die one more time, I mean it, Zack Snyder, I will come and find you and I will drag you by the shirt and be like, why?
I will Liam Neeson you.
Yes. But no, I was like, oh, okay, we're getting some. Was it Cyborg story?
It was Cyborgs, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm okay for this because I actually don't know much about Cyborg as a character, so I like background on characters.
Yeah. It's nice when we have context.
I still think he should have had his own film though, and I still think The Flash should have had his own film as well.
Me too, because this film really does try to address their backstories, but they are so bare bones. It's ridiculous. But I must admit, Cyborg does have a lot more in this version compared to Justice, from what I remember. So
Absolutely.
like,
from what I've read.
Cyborg did get pretty heavily shafted in the previous version.
Yeah.
So
Oh
fair
god, I
enough.
saw a picture of what Steppenwolf looked like in the 2017 one, and I was like, oh my god, what is that monstrosity? I
Oh,
was like, wow, massive improvement, jeez.
he was adorable in the previous one.
It's really confusing how in the theatrical cut, for the theatrical cut, they were like, oh yeah, we should make this change and this change and it'll be better, and then you just watch the film and you're like, what? And then when you compare it to the Snyder cut now, you're just even more so like, what?
It's like they did CGI and got and just stopped halfway, and they're just like, good enough. It's just like, what the
Well, yeah, it's like
heck?
that film is fascinating to study. I'll say that. But oh, Amy, last week we were constantly talking about, Darkseid forgot something. Do you know what we're talking about now?
Was it the fact that he had to do 50,000 planets and it was just like, oh,
No.
it's okay. Okay.
It wasn't that.
I missed that then.
No, that makes sense because it was like, oh, you found anti-life. Holy shit. Forget the 50,000 worlds. If you find anti-life, you can come back. Like, that's basically what that was.
Okay.
You hit the big money.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the time, so Darkseid only has one scene, doesn't he?
He's got a couple, but
He has one from the past, but confronting the superheroes.
In current day time, yeah.
He has one scene.
Yeah,
so I was
he only has the portal scene.
I was like, what am I looking out for? And I just never caught on to it.
Okay,
I guess at this point my brain was like, I'm done.
So
or the Boom Tube, to be precise, whatever it was.
I'll try to lead you to the answer, Amy, and just so that I can properly highlight how ridiculous what Darkseid forgot was. All right. So, in the history lesson in part 2, Darkseid came with the mother boxes to Earth to fight. Yes. Amy.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Excuse me. Oh. Yep, I'm here.
Cool.
I gotcha. I did say gotcha.
Oh, all right. I just didn't hear it.
I did. That's okay.
So, after that, Darkseid does the whole hitting the floor, and he finds anti-life on Earth. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and he forgot he found anti-life.
On Earth.
He was just like, oh, you found it. Wait, I found it. Oh, I forgot.
It's like he came here, found it, fucked off because he lost, and then just forgot about Earth altogether. And I'm like, fucking what?
You do. Okay. Yeah, see, I think what happened was I watched the chapters separately. I didn't watch it all in one big chunk, so I think my brain just forgot that part. By the time I got to the end, I was like...
No, that's absolutely cool, but...
It's like, that happened days ago!
Yeah, it's like... as soon as David saw that, I'm pretty sure he sent the message to me. It's like, did Darkseid really forget where Earth was or something to that effect?
I did.
And I was like, apparently so. Oh my god, like, you know, that one aspect of the film just ruined Darkseid as a threat to me, because I'm like, oh, just give it a couple of days, he'll forget about it.
Yeah, but just be like, what?
I think that's one of my biggest problems with the film. like just the fact that he forgot where it was, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like I get that you're from like another universe and all that, and trying to like sift through all the planets to trying to find anti-life must be very difficult. But you'd think once you'd found it in the first place,
that would stick in your mind.
That would stick in your mind no matter how long it is.
Yeah, like
just a tad.
Like, I can get behind, oh, he couldn't find it after 5,000 years, which, holy shit, that fucks up Wonder Woman's origin from Wonder Woman OG. Like, apparently she's 5,000 years old, not 800.
Yeah,
so
apparently.
But see, because Zeus was alive during that battle, if they had said, oh, he cast a protective layer like in Themyscira but over Earth so that he can protect people from Darkseid, I'd be like, okay, so it was masked, he couldn't see it. Like, it's not great, but at least it's something to latch onto on why Darkseid couldn't find it again. But no, he just forgot.
An explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as Darkseid realized, oh, it was Earth, I just thought of Dumb and Dumber from Game of Thrones, just saying, oh, Danny just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
That's not a good comparison to make either. It's like, fucking hell.
Your bad guys don't come across as menacing when it looks like they have memory problems.
Yeah, you know, it's like, do you need a minute, Darkseid? Do you want to sit down? I'm worried about you.
You need to check up.
That's one of the big issues I have with this film, and there's more. We'll get to them in time.
I have a big one that's right at the end of the film.
I've got like 4 or 5 at the end. It's mental.
Oh god, yeah. At the end, I think it's just going to be one after the other. Like, this is a problem. This is a problem. You get a problem. You get a problem.
Genuinely, that's why I'm kind of really hoping we get to finish part 3 and 4 today, because part 5 and 6 just falls apart so magnificently. But yeah, part 3, we got Flash introduction an hour into the film.
Yeah.
And he's applying for a job in the dog shop or dog pet store. Pet store, that's what we call them.
Yeah, because he's balancing a lot of jobs at the time, from what Henry Allen was saying.
Apparently, like, I'm on Henry Allen's side. Like, have one stable job instead of like 50,000 different jobs, you know?
Yeah, that apparently you can't get to on time for.
Yeah, and it's like,
I do love that. It's like, you're the Flash and you're late.
Yeah, I love that as well.
Like, I'm glad they kept that aspect of Flash from the comics over here as well.
It's a good character trait, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the Flash in the comics was late for a reason, whereas he's just incompetent. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, even in the Lego movies about Flash that I've watched, they include that trait and it, like, literally show you why he's late for things, because he's so busy helping everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, this film didn't pay attention to a detail that a Lego movie could pay attention to. What?
Like,
I've always found that aspect of the character to be really endearing. Like, he's the fastest man alive, and yet he just there are times where he just can't get to things on time.
Yeah, because he's just put so much on his plate that he's just overwhelmed. So
that's very
a really
relatable.
cool aspect to the character. Yeah, absolutely, Amy.
Yeah.
You know what else I thought was funny in this scene? Is the fact that the entire time that Barry's walking into the shop, like, him and Iris West are just... Iris West is giving him, like, the Jesse look to Cloud in Final Fantasy, where it's like, I want your dick, bro. And Like, like Barry's just like, oh my god, I'm kind of scared of you, and just like Cloud
Yeah.
is.
Oh, Cloud's adorable. He's just like, I don't know what to compliment. I'm gonna
Oh.
hide.
And it's like the entire scene. I was like, okay, I know you guys gotta
Alright.
set up this romance, but have them speak to each other maybe instead of giving each other the "I wanna fuck you" eyes.
I mean, yeah.
It was very much
I
love
was
at
like, that's
first sight.
fast.
Yeah, like okay, I guess you're good-looking people.
Fair
The-
enough. But don't you
su-
usually have to have a conversation before, you're kind of like, yeah.
I mean, then again, this
Yeah.
is the same universe where Superman and Lois are together, so.
That's just true.
That's
At least they have a
true, and it's
conversation
another one
before.
of my problems.
It is
They
ridiculous.
bonded over her being zapped. That's how they bonded.
But like, so Barry's in the middle of having a really bad interview where he's just constantly talking and talking and talking and talking.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I get it. He's fast. Does he have to talk fast?
I get the neurotic
Yes.
aspect that you're going for, but this is bordering on annoying, personally.
Yeah, I was sat there going, if this was me, I'd be like, get the hell out of my shop. I'm not hiring you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
You're not letting me get a word in. Get out. You're not going to be good at following instructions because you're not letting me speak. Goodbye.
They were really going along with that vibe, because you've even got the line later on where he's like, when Bruce shows up, and he's like, I'm putting together a team, and Barry's like, I'm in. I need friends.
And you're like,
Which-
oh, but
I
I
was-
don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, because we met him like literally 10 minutes ago. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess he doesn't have friends. Cool. This is why a flash film would have been useful, so we have context.
A little bit. Yeah,
It-
we're just
it-
kind of like, oh, okay.
It's one of those things, with the whole idea of the cinematic universe where I see where it can have merit having films beforehand. I don't always think that it's necessary, because we've had superhero films in the past where we've gotten to know the characters there and then, like X-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy. But then
Yeah.
again, with those films, obviously they don't necessarily have as huge of a legacy as something like the Justice League, as the X-Men
Yeah.
do, of course. But
Yeah.
they are something different entirely. And when it comes to the story of those films, I feel as though they were quite simple stories to begin with, and then with Justice League, it's like, oh yeah, you've got the mother boxes, anti-life equation, Darkseid, Steppenwolf,
All the prisms are in this film. But
Nightmare.
see, I reckon with the appropriate planning, you could have started this universe with a Justice League-esque film and introduce all the characters in one film. So if we were
Yeah.
using this narrative that we've already got with the Snyder films, let's use, like, Man of Steel has the perfect world-ending event. Like, what if that is the event that caused all of them to gather at Metropolis and do their own thing? Like, that would cause us
True.
intrigue that would lead
Yeah.
to their own films and then come back to this Justice League film. Like, that could have been an avenue. It's
I
Yeah.
can
not.
see that.
Yeah,
It-
like I mean, with Marvel, like they set up different characters and then brought them together. But
Yeah.
it was already set up. They were already like part of this team before Avengers came out.
Or at the very least, they were being recruited to this team.
Yeah. Like
so,
they knew who Nick Fury was. They knew that he was recruiting.
Yeah, and you get to see that in Iron Man 2, which is great.
Yeah.
But
Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have seen individual films for each of these characters before Justice League.
Yeah.
Just going off the circumstances of what came about. We're obviously in the place that we're in right now. And
Yeah.
I do think it's funny because if we were waiting on the Flash film, then that's still a year away.
Yeah.
allegedly.
I feel like that should have come before Justice League because, like, yeah, set up.
But
Oh.
I mean, I know it can be done, like you say, with Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't know. Like you say, their backstories aren't as like
Defined.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do get that. I was just using it as an example.
No, like I
Okay.
agree with you, David. Like you could have done both ways, but the plan needed to have been there to
Yeah,
do
it
it.
needs to be
Absolutely.
executed because like this film is just like, ta-da! Here's the Flash. Here's
I do find
Cyborg.
it interesting that this film, I felt as though there was a lot more of a focus on characters like Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg than there actually was Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Definitely Superman. Definitely over Superman.
Oh
But
God, yeah.
that kind of goes
Yeah.
without saying.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, yeah, he's kind of dead most of the film.
like that's the thing. Like even in this film, I have the same criticism as BVS and Man of Steel. Henry Cavill barely says anything in these films, and I don't know
Definitely.
why.
And it's crazy considering that the film that started this universe was a Superman film.
Yeah,
I know.
that's like if Marvel just didn't give Tony Stark any lines at all.
Yeah, or at
And
least
that would have been something else.
that
Considering
would
the
have been
character
been
interesting.
weird. I feel like they tried to make Batman a bit like Tony Stark in this film, and I don't think it worked for him.
I definitely felt that way with the theatrical cut.
He felt a lot
I felt
more
like that
like the Nick Fury more than anything else to me because he was the
Yeah.
one getting the team together, and then
Yeah, I feel the same way.
yeah,
They were
I just
definitely
kind
going
of got.
with. Sorry.
I just kind of got some billionaire asshole vibes, especially when it's like, "What's your superpower? I'm rich." I was like, "Really, really? Okay then."
there's humor in this film, and I'm not used to it in a Zack Snyder film. I'm not gonna lie. Like not since Legend of the Guardians have I seen humor in a Zack Snyder film, and this took me off guard.
It
But
was something else, that's for sure. Some of it
Oh.
worked and some of it really missed.
That
Oh.
one missed for me. I was like, "Come on."
it's like in football you've got the goal, and then you've got the lines at the sides. Like it's almost like you're aiming for the goal, but you ended up in your own goal. That's how hard it missed.
Yeah.
Which I have
Anyway,
scored like that once, so it can happen.
Fair.
I do really like the aspect of Justice League that Batman's kind of going on a Seven Samurai type of mission.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do really like that aspect because there is something interesting about, I want to say the outsider, like the big outsider, like who doesn't really work with anyone.
And he's putting a team together. Yeah, I like it.
I find that aspect quite interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think they really covered it a lot in either version, but they tried.
The execution was balked either way.
Yeah.
There was effort,
Ugh,
but it
ugh.
definitely needed improvement.
Like a star for effort.
Good
Like-
job.
I'd say an E or a D for execution.
No S rank for you.
Oh my god. Like we are like we have a long way to go before we get an S ranking in this franchise.
Yeah.
But
Let's hear it for the Suicide Squad.
oh, I hope.
2020.
I hope this time it doesn't ruin my birthday, because last time I went to see Suicide Squad on my birthday, I was very disappointed and sad. I was like,
Oh yeah, the first one came out in August as well, didn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, I did.
That's prime time for the squad.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got some big shoes to fill. You gotta make up for the last movie.
Do you know, I'm very hopeful because it's James Gunn. If it was anyone else, I'd be like, well, chalk it up to another DC flop. But because it's James Gunn, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it looks like he really is like proper into it, because he had like a panel with all the stars and he was like asking them questions like from the comics, and I'm like, okay, so you've been paying attention to the
Like,
comics.
he chose the project
yeah.
himself, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give you a chance.
I just love the fact that he was like, right, I'm gonna get Sylvester Stallone to voice King Shark, and I'm gonna put Starro in my movie.
which was, if I'm not mistaken, the first big villain in the Justice League comics.
It was indeed.
Nice.
So, hey, I guess Suicide Squad is the true start of the DCEU.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this film.
Me too.
But that's not the film we're talking about.
No.
Oh,
Justice
God,
League.
yeah. We're dreaming of better days.
See how much we don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. So Iris West is having trouble starting her car,
Yeah,
and a guy is driving while eating.
as you do. And he's like, "Oh, I dropped it."
So
So
time slows
naturally-
down,
Yeah.
and the Flash starts running now. Okay, I like the fact that aspects of his clothing get ripped when he moves so fast, but why
Yeah.
only his shoes?
Yeah. Surely his pants would get ripped too.
Like, he'd be the equivalent
his
of
top.
less than the Hulk if he was moving
Yeah.
that fast, because shoes are slightly more durable than t-shirts and pants.
Yeah. And I will give the slow motion a pass because obviously
The Flash.
he's moving really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's within his power, sir.
This one is fine. I don't mind these slow motion bits. But the music, it is
was
questionable.
weird.
I was like, why is this playing? This sounds depressing, and he's running at super speed, and he's grabbing a hot dog. That's
This-
funny. I wouldn't have sad music over that.
This is like, I'm so not a fan of older songs being
I'm not a
covered
fan
in
of the
this.
soundtrack in this movie.
Like, I'm just really not a fan in general of songs just going the depressing, no.
Yeah.
And then, like, the original song is like, well, hello there, how are you?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
like, someone actually managed to make I Will Walk 500 Miles depressing, and I'm like, how the fuck
Yeah.
do you manage to do that?
No.
Anyway, that's a different point altogether, and I hate modern day covers of songs. Like,
That's
Lord's...
fair.
Oh, go on.
I just thought it was such a weird choice, and again, the weird choice of music over the Aquaman drinking whiskey scene. I was like, what are you doing? Do you just really like depressing music or something?
Oh, I don't get
And
it.
you feel like putting it over scenes that could be made vaguely interesting by just changing the mood?
I've got a
Generally-
question though.
If there was a metal track while Aquaman is walking towards the dock, I would be far more interested in it, but that song choice was weird.
That song choice made the scene last longer for me, and it's the same with this scene. Like, I was like, is it over yet? Has he
Oh no,
saved it yet?
this scene lasts a while, believe you me.
I
It
know.
lingers,
I got-
which is strange.
I got Quicksilver vibes from this scene, and obviously in the movie where Quicksilver's going around saving people from the mansion, there's not sad music playing.
Yeah, you've got Eurythmics playing, which is infinitely more
Yeah.
cooler.
Exactly.
Definitely, and I do feel that they were trying to go for like love at first sight romanticism in that moment. I don't think
It worked.
it was used to
it
the
did
greatest effect.
I got she's possibly gonna die vibes from
And
it.
she's looking way too calm considering the fact that she was,
Yeah.
about to die.
Yeah, she's just like, oh. Guess
I
I'll
have a
die.
question for you though, guys.
Oh.
What would you have preferred to have been playing in a scene? The music that's
Ooh.
playing right now, or the song from when Aquaman went in the water earlier in the film?
Oh,
So
that's...
which song would we rather play here?
Yeah, like the
Aquaman one or
village
this
music
one?
or
Oh,
this song.
Neither.
Yeah,
I
neither.
agree.
Honestly, I would rather, in the finale when the Flash is reversing time and you got that really interesting like piano thing going in the middle of
yeah.
the techno, I'd rather they
Yeah.
played the instrumental piano version of it here.
I
Yeah.
would have loved that.
That would have been so much better.
Instrumental, or maybe like the second half of that song, but like Flash's theme. I want
I
Flash's
agree.
theme here. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that would have
Yeah.
been. I think that would have worked so well and would have been perfect, rather than this song.
Yeah.
The song choices are odd in this film.
They're
find
very
it.
strange.
Because if you use the Flash's theme here, then you establish his theme. So whenever he's going to do something heroic and that music comes up, it's like, ooh, Flash is going to wreck shit. It gets you excited subconsciously. So, set things up, which is weird considering this film tries to set things up, but it falls flat.
Yeah. I feel like it's part of Snyder's going for style over substance a lot of the time.
Hardcore.
He does it a lot in Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget symbolism, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of the films, plural, I would say are, like, if you take the dialogue out, and if you just make it like a musical soundtrack with just instruments and the visuals, it would actually improve because the dialogue actually helps break the narrative quite hardcore.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL all up in these movies without dialogue.
Yeah, because the dialogue just destroys the narrative whenever they talk. So, but yes, I love the fact that because there were so many hot dogs. I was just talking to because me and my parents watched this together the first time, and me and my dad just like, he's got to go for the hot dog. Come on, it's a missed opportunity. And he went for the hot dog, and we were like, yes! We were so happy. We were, like, if you told me we would get an instance of humor like that in Justice League directed by Zack Snyder, I'd be like, you're fucking insane. But we got it, and that's weird.
Yeah. It just didn't work though because there was sad music playing over the fact he's grabbing a hot dog, and I was like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm so disappointed. I was like, that would have been really funny.
Yeah, like,
and you fucked it up.
This is something I think. This is from me talking about the first season because I haven't seen anything else. The first season of The Flash, where it's really an optimistic soundtrack, regardless.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just so much of a contrast to what's going on. It's weird.
Yeah, and that can work sometimes, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't work here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Stanley Kubrick likes to basically put horrible context with songs like, for instance, Singing in the Rain is ruined for me thanks to Clockwork Orange.
Oh my
but
god,
it kind of works. I don't know why, but it works.
Blake Neely does the music for The Flash.
Yeah.
But...
Just thought I'd say that.
Oh, if Singing in the Rain was playing, I would be more on board with the scene.
Yeah.
But then I'd be seeing Malcolm McDowell just beat the shit out of an old man, so I don't know if that's really helpful. Oh, did you guys get the shot of the sesame seed?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't figure out where it is, but oh my god, that sesame seed shot, we needed that in the film.
Yeah,
of course.
Totally.
Completely integral to the plot.
Yeah, just like we needed to see Aquaman down a bottle of whiskey. I feel like all he does is drink in this movie.
A lot of people drink in this universe.
I saw something funny, where it's like Aquaman is completely going against his morals by drinking the bottle of whiskey and throwing it into the sea.
I mean,
he is littering.
I was like, that's littering. What are you doing?
He is King Orm's natural enemy. No wonder they fought in the Aquaman film.
I saw that and I was like, yeah, you're completely right. He's going against himself.
Yep. But we had to have it in there because cool, badass people throw bottles after they drink them.
Style.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, I think he would have
cool.
fell in the sea, not walked back into the sea, he fell in the sea because he just downed some JD. And that shit knocks you off your ass.
I mean, he's going to have a higher metabolism.
That's true, actually, is it?
Maybe he needs the alcohol to dull the sensation of a tidal wave crashing into him.
Maybe.
Maybe it dulls pressure underwater.
Oh, maybe.
Oh. But yeah, after saving Iris, he runs back to the shop and is feeding the hot dog to the dogs.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I guess that's kind of cool how he was like, oh, hey, I was thinking ahead. And
I fed them.
yeah, he's being nice to the dogs, so it's cool. Yeah, it's fine.
I do.
Being nice to dogs.
I do really like how, as awkward as Barry is in the film, I do really like how they highlight his intelligence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he was like, so I'll start on Monday then? I was like, you arrogant little fuck.
How about you fuck off?
Yeah.
You owe me a window.
I was like, yeah, you broke my window.
well, how does she know that?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, I guess.
I still would have been like, the thing is, though, you didn't let me get a word in. So how do I know you're going to follow instructions? I don't. I'm not giving you the job. That's just how I would do it.
Get away from the dogs. We don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
So next, Steppenwolf and his bugs get some Atlanteans and bring them to shore. Now, David, you've seen Aquaman, yes?
I have seen Aquaman.
Oh God, we watched it together. Of course you've seen it.
We did with Jenny.
Amy, have you seen Aquaman? I can't remember.
I have not seen Aquaman yet, but
okay.
I should probably watch it for context.
Yeah, no, it's fine. There is no context because it's a contradiction, if anything, because normal Atlanteans choke to death in normal air, but here they're fine and they're talking and there's nothing wrong with them. And it's like, oh, well, that's not continuous of lore.
I don't mind it as much. Because Aquaman came out before Justice League would have came out, so
it came out after.
I did say that, didn't I?
No, you said it came out before.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant Aquaman came out after Justice League would have. So if anything, Aquaman would be acting in opposition to Justice League. So I didn't really see much of a problem there because if anything, Aquaman was contradicting Justice League.
Actually, all of these films contradict each other. We've not had a single through line yet. And we're like 5 films in.
Also, the fact that Wonder Woman's age keeps changing just doesn't help.
And no one's willing to admit that Wonder Woman's a rapist. Like, these... Wonder Woman 84 contradicts Wonder Woman. Both the Wonder Woman films contradict Zack Snyder's films. And Zack Snyder's films contradict each other, and they contradict Aquaman. And it's just, it's a mess.
It's a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey shenanigans.
Like, even David Tennant's going, no, it's too much wibbly wobbly.
Yeah. Like,
I know references.
Even multiverse
You got me
couldn't
there.
fix that.
That's good.
It's one of the few things about Doctor Who I know from modern day, so savor it. Like wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. It's like okay. But yeah, okay. So this scene is completely dragged out beyond what it needs to be because he's asking the guy, "Oh, I want to know where the stone is, or the box is," and he goes, "Nah, screw you." He throws him against the wall, cracks his head open, and then uses a spider on him that tells him anyway. Why not lead with the fucking spider?
I was like, if you got a spider that can make you make people tell you what you want to hear, why aren't you just doing that?
Like, it's the epitome of this film. It's like everyone's doing things in the most roundabout way so that they drag.
Yeah. And I don't get it, because it's like, in films, surely you want to get the point across in as little time as possible. You don't want to drag it out.
Like, brevity is the soul of wit. That doesn't mean shorter the better. Get the point across efficiently.
Yeah. That's what, I'm not necessarily saying you want to short it down, but if you're making a film and it's already 4 hours long, surely you'd be like looking at it like, is there a way I can make this less longer? Because 4 hours seems very extravagant.
Hmm. It's like,
So, like, the fact that he's having these scenes that are just overindulgent, and it's like, this is literally telling us nothing about the film.
all
It's just
repetition of
there.
information we've already got.
Yeah. It's like, why are you including that?
It's like, I get it. It's like the meta context of this film, I get it, but that doesn't excuse mistakes in the film
Yeah.
or poor execution of aspects of the film, rather.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
next,
also got a question. Do you think the blood in the film was necessary?
I didn't really have too much of an issue with it. It was an R-rated film anyway, so I was kind of expecting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where stuff like that would happen, and I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I was neither here nor there about the blood, but yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I was
sure.
expecting it.
I mean, I think the part where I was really kind of expecting blood, but there wasn't, was in the original hostage sequence with Wonder Woman, where she's wrecking people, but no one's bleeding, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Oh.
But you know, like Atlantean getting hit against a rock, that's where the blood splatter is. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
I was like, ew. Fair enough.
Human beings? No. Atlanteans? You bet.
Yes, but it's like that's the thing, right? Like in the hostage scene with Wonder Woman, where she does the shockwave thing. Like I'm expecting blood to spray because of that explosion, but nothing
Yeah.
came. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be for the over-the-top violence. No, there's blood in this and a couple of f-bombs. I'm like, oh, okay, weird.
Strange.
Yeah,
Strange.
this is a funny film, like I said. So next, we've got Lois Lane being all sadisms because her boy toy died, and that's it. We're in the Batcave now.
Yeah,
Like-
not much else to go from with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I don't really have an issue with that scene because she's grieving for Superman, was her boyfriend, and like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, and doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I was just irritated because, like, why did we need the grave scene to be so slow?
Earlier in the film, or
Yeah, the one
Which
earlier
one?
in the
Yeah,
film.
exactly, David.
Yeah. The one where she went and got coffee and then Zack Snyder was in there as a cameo.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
I
the
got
first
you.
one.
Yeah, that one. I was like, I get the slow motion over the graves bit, but why did the coffee ordering and the walking to the grave need to be in slow motion?
very good question.
Because artistic
Reasons.
vision or some crap like that. Yes, so Diana and Bruce are in the Batcave and they're talking about recruiting people because the war is coming. And there was this really I want to say cute moment where they go for the mouse together. And it's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
it's like, oh, are they flirting with each other? That's
Like,
kind of
oh.
adorable.
Aw.
And
then it's never brought up again.
it's just ignored. I'm not sure if that was like planned or if that was something unintentional that they just left in the film. I don't know which it is.
Neither do I.
But and then another joke which I kind of liked is when she was like, "Oh, so what did he say?" It's like, "Oh, it's like more or less." He said yes. It's like more or more or less, like more or less, and like I attributed that to being like a Joss Whedon line, but apparently it's a Zack line. Like, ooh, interesting. Because it's in this film. Because that felt very Whedon-esque when we watched it the first time.
Absolutely. I can just hear Buffy speaking to Giles, or like, or like
Widow speaking
someone
to
on
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
someone on the Serenity, you know.
Oh, definitely.
So after the scene where they decide, okay, I'm gonna go for the Flash and she's gonna go for Cyborg, we get Cyborg's backstory. Aha.
I really enjoyed hearing Cyborg's backstory because it gave him a lot more, so many more layers than the theatrical cut did. Because I felt as though he was a bit like an action figure, a chess piece in the theatrical cut, whereas here he's an actual character.
He was a Hot Toys figure for all intents and purposes.
Essentially, yeah.
Like, very detailed, but it looks pretty and nothing else.
Yeah, I always felt that through Ray Fisher, and after the theatrical cut, because you could tell that there was so much more there that he wanted to do with the character, and just wasn't there in the theatrical cut. But I'm really glad that it's here now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this entire segment really sets up Ray. I was gonna say Ray Fisher as a character. It's like Cyborg as a character. Because we get to see that he's athletic, he's smart because he was able to hack into the school system and, give a friend of his some slack during a hard time, which also shows that he's compassionate, which is great.
Yeah.
Cares about his mother quite a lot because he's talking to his mother on the car ride home and it's like, oh, look, don't defend dad because, he's kind of tismy at the moment.
Yeah.
But what I kind of feel as if his reaction to his father not being there was a little too extreme.
Yeah, it did seem quite over the top. Like, you're not being there. Angry,
Yeah.
but I get it too.
I was okay with that because it felt as though he's done this time and time before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And it seemed to be a big game, so it was like, oh, he couldn't even be here for this. Like, this is really important to me.
Yeah, I get it as well because it kind of sort of suggests like this is the last straw. This is like the time where it's pushed him too far, and now he's genuinely angry about it. So I can see that as well.
Yeah, true. The reason why I thought it was so over the top is because after the accident, his dad did make the time. It's just at the wrong time. And he's so overwhelmed with emotion to the point that he's willing to do anything for Cyborg to save him. So, because there was no... Okay, being a cyborg is a bit of a lasting effect, but at the end of the day, he did save Cyborg's life. So, I feel like the compensation between him being mad at his dad for not being there during those moments was a bit the scales were not balanced enough for it to be that level of hatred towards his father. That's all I'm saying.
I get you.
You never know how someone's going to react in that situation, though, so it's possibly down to maybe trauma.
And grief over his mum.
Because those two things are not a nice combination. And they can make you be horrible.
I would be open to taking those on board in terms of whether it was over the top or not. The thing is, there is no evidence in the film itself that supports that. That is my only issue.
Okay. Yeah, we could have had, like, maybe him having some flashbacks and then maybe, I don't know, saying to his dad that, I don't know, some way of suggesting that he has suffered trauma through that.
Yeah, maybe if, like, the transformation into Cyborg was a lot more long-lasting and a lot more painful. And it's like, Dad, you're putting me through this. Stop it. You were never there, and now you're just putting me through pain. Like,
Yeah,
that
I mean...
would be very traumatic. So
Yeah. I mean, well, it looked fucking painful.
I know. It's like, because it was so shown to be so temporary, but the benefits that Cyborg got in return far outweigh that, because he's essentially able to become the Dr. Manhattan of this world, which is pretty huge,
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my big question is, well, that I need to find the answer to is whether the hatred towards his dad is justified or not. And I don't think there's enough material in the film to come up with a decent answer, which would have been helped if we got a solo film.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be interpreted whether or not it is justified. Because again, when you suffer trauma, you do take it out on somebody, like the people nearest to you, whether you want to or not. Like your emotions kind of run you if you suffer a trauma. At least in my experience, talking to people who've suffered trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that sentiment. I just don't have enough context for these two's relationship to see if that reasoning is justified, if that makes sense. Like, if we got an additional scene or two with the parents and Ray Fisher and Cyborg, fuck, because I'm just so used to attributing Cyborg to Ray Fisher rather than Vic Stone. But
that's understandable. like we always
because like, oh, it's Ray Fisher playing Cyborg.
Tend to think about the hero first. Yeah, or like sometimes if you're talking about Steve Rogers, you'll say Cap or Captain America or something lines with any other hero as well. Like you'd call Logan Wolverine, not Logan, most likely.
Absolutely, but I guess what's really holding me back from making that leap into that behavior was justified was because we never had a scene with the two of them before the accident. If we had that for context,
very true.
That's a good point.
Like for example, if he's let's say it's before the game, and he's like, "Hey Dad, there's a big game. Are you gonna be there?" "Yeah, I'll be there, son." And he's not there. I'd be like, "Okay, I have a little bit more context." He puts his job over his son, and then this accident is what reverses them. It's like, okay, now I have enough context to make it justified.
Yeah, that's fair. Like even if it was like a phone call or like at the beginning of the day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had enough time to put all these extra slow motions down.
I know.
There's no excuse. There's no reason that couldn't have been included.
It's like
how much did you say that it was still in 24 minutes?
24 minutes of slow motion. Just shave 3 minutes off, put that extra scene, and I would have been happy with this.
and that's not to mention credits as well. Like.
Oh fuck yeah! But yeah, if that one scene was there to set up the relationship, I would have been fully on board with this. But as it stands, I'm just not willing to make that leap over the shark.
That's fair.
But
sorry.
I do agree with you guys. Trauma can do some fucked up shit to you.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I
see a point.
You know what actually did it? It's weird because I watched it like a few weeks before the Snyder Cut came in. Season 2 of One Tree Hill kind of did it in a really interesting way, where there's a car crash, and like the mother was taking it out on the father figure and stuff like that, and I was like, I guess that's why, because I've seen it done better. I'm really disappointed when it's done worse in this film. But One Tree Hill, man, it's pretty decent. Who would have thought?
When did that come out originally? Because
2005, 6.
Oh wow!
About that, yeah.
Because it ended in 2012, so I guess 2004-ish, yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I was watching it while it was airing, and it was very, very fun.
I was 6 when it came out.
Child. But
my biggest memory of 2004 is seeing stuff with Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
my biggest memory of 2004 is starting high school. Ugh.
I can't remember 2004. I remember 2006, if that's any consolation.
I don't remember anything past that. I just remember I started high school in 2004, and then I don't remember any of the other years leading up to 2010. There's a big gap.
Just age, man.
Yeah.
You'll get there one day, David.
One day. One day.
Yes. So after we got all the flashback where we get to see a lot of Vic Stone's last day and, you know, his stuff at school where he's a bit of a maverick helping his students out, where he's the all-star football dude, he's got daddy issues, but he's a mama's boy, all cool. We're in the modern day now, and he's kind of pissed off that he looks the way he does, which, you know, fair enough. But looks aren't everything, bro. You can do some really cool shit. Like, not gonna lie, I'd love to look like Vic Stone. Like, that would be so cyberpunk. I'd be down for that. Especially if I get the same abilities.
It would be cool to have all of those abilities.
Yeah. We'd all be doomed though if you had those abilities. I know you said
absolutely.
disabilities. No.
Here's an interesting question.
Oh my.
Which member of the Justice League would you want as the... Whose powers would you want?
I have Bruce Wayne's, because, you know, he's rich.
He's rich. Superman's.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Superman's would be helpful because, like, you know, I wouldn't be able to be killed very easily unless, you know.
Yeah, and plus
Kryptonite.
you can go nearly as fast as the Flash without any of the drawbacks.
I can laser beam people. The problem is though, I'd probably get angry and laser beam someone in the face.
Oh, it's a foregone conclusion I would do that. So
yeah,
I'd
probably become a villain.
Me too.
I think for me, I'd go with the Flash's powers.
The only reason why I would not go for the Flash is because my grocery bill would be skyrocketing every month.
True.
Whereas with Superman,
yeah,
I can
so
fly
much.
and I can go nearly as fast and I can still eat the same amount.
Yeah.
I just need to photosynthesize for a couple of hours and I'm good. Cool, you know?
Good point.
But I guess if ever I choose the Flash, it would be because of the personality rather than the powers.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
But if we're talking strictly powers, Superman, he's indestructible, fast, and can laser people.
And he can fly.
And he can chill you out during the summer. It's great. He's like
if I were
Blossom
the
from
Flash,
the Powerpuff Girls.
If I were the Flash, I'd just have to keep an eye out for that one parademon.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, I've got so many issues with that battle, but that's a whole stream in itself. Or episode, rather. Yeah, one day. One day!
One day this will all be over.
But, yeah, we've gotten to the point where Vic is not even able to look at Silas without going, screw you, old man. So he just leaves the tape recorder behind. And I'm like, oh, like, why not just say it anyway? You're in the room, so...
Or write a note, or, I don't know. Call him
Sometimes it's hard to talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking to him the entire time till now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's harder to say things that are like...
Oh, like to someone's face, it's harder to actually say them yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
also harder
Okay.
if the person's ignoring you. It's kind of like, why am I bothering? You clearly
Alright.
don't want to talk to me, so...
Yeah, I suppose the tape recorder puts the onus on Vic whether he wants to listen or not, so... Okay.
And he very clearly is just like, screw you, I'll break.
Screw you, old man. But he does
Whoosh.
choose to listen, which is
Do
cool.
a little bit.
So he starts off talking about, oh, Vic, you've got a great body, so learn how to use it. You'll be really good at it. So we get to see him do the Iron Man flying testing scene, which I'm happy
That's
about.
true, it was very similar.
It was super... I was like, I have seen this before.
Yes, done better, but I'm glad it's here because
Yeah.
it means that it took Cyborg longer to fly than it took Wonder Woman to fly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh.
But we also get to see his internet surfing skills as well. He can hack into stuff. The nuclear missiles are his to control. And we get a wide variety of powers that Victor Stone is able to utilize now. So he's connected to literally everything that is technology. And that creates some problems later on in the film. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
But I did appreciate this film for what it tried to do.
Same here. Like I thought it was a really nice scene where Vic was helping that woman.
That was probably my favorite scene. One of my favorite scenes in the film.
Same here.
My one question about that scene is, where did the money come from? Did he generate it? Did he take it from somewhere else? If so, where did he take it from? And if it's going to be a lottery, and if it was a lottery, then the IRA is going to screw her over because, like, oh, we didn't authorize this. So it's like,
sure,
there's so many ways it could go wrong. But it's like, oh, it's happy because he's helping her and all of that, which I'm cool with. Like, it was
could have been a coincidence, and he took it from Bruce Wayne, and then in a post-credit scene that we never got to see, he's like, "Hey, Bruce."
Maybe that's why he had to buy the bank to cover the trail.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
Yeah, I do appreciate that when he's flying for the first time, he is actually smiling, because my god, Cyborg's pretty miserable for this entire film.
Yeah, a lot of the film he's just like,
grumpytisms.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing this little story being contextualized from Cyborg's perspective, I really did like the visual storytelling there.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't really have many complaints about Cyborg's part. I liked it.
It's just how he's utilized later on that becomes really tismy.
Yeah.
But
I'll be right back, guys.
how dare
Okay.
you? Cool. But he is not able to take it when Silas decides to talk to him about being a father, so he crushes the tape recorder.
Yep.
And this is
Swoosh.
exactly when a little bug bro comes along looking for the mother box. So I did kind of appreciate that visually Cyborg is ready to fight, but he didn't actually realize he was ready to fight. His body just kind of reacted on its own.
it?
So that was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. Kind of sets up the fight later on, which is pretty stupid in its own right. But at least they
I'm
tried
trying
to...
to remember.
Oh, the Superman fight when he's resurrected. He's like, it's my self-defense mechanism. Ah! So this is their attempt at setting it up. Which I appreciate them trying, but it's still not well executed.
Yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere, that bit. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
Sure.
there was a plan for it, but if you blink, you'd miss it. It's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we get to see Barry's father, and he's in prison because framed for mother's death.
Oof.
And this is kind of a decent scene between the two of them, because he's like, oh, hey, Barry, like, you gotta do what you want to do rather than doing what is best for me. Like,
Yeah.
you're a grown man, you gotta work your shit out, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And Billy Crudup as his dad is just fantastic.
Yep, I had no issues with it. It was a good scene.
Yeah, and we already talked about him having multiple jobs being stupid anyways, so that's
Yeah.
something in this scene, and we already talked about it. But now, this is when he goes to the warehouse, and I don't know if he's just, like, loitering here and no one knows, or if he's actually paying rent or anything like that, or if he's stealing electricity or anything. Like,
Yeah,
I have
it's not
no
really
idea.
clear. It's not really very clear. I was just like, okay, I guess he lives here then.
Yeah, so like,
Weird
how,
choice for a house, but okay.
what? I guess the rent's cheap at least.
Mm.
But Bruce Wayne is here, and he like Bruce Wayne is like, oh hey, like I know who you are, but they're so beating around the bush about it, just like he was with Arthur in the opening of the film. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, just
get to the point.
yeah. And Bruce says a baffling line where he's like, I know you have powers, I just don't know what it is. And it's like, you've seen CCTV footage of him just moving really fucking fast. Like, what do you mean?
Maybe he was saying that to be like, I don't want him to freak out, but it's just like, if you just turn around and go, I know you have powers, you could just be like, dude, I know you can run really fast.
Yeah, but he did say that though. He did say like, oh, I know you have powers. So
Just
already you've played your card.
I don't need, yeah.
And plus, if it wasn't super speed, he would have killed him with a batarang. So
Yeah.
either way, like Bruce, I know you're smarter than this. Please be.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, he was like, I know you have powers, I just don't know what they are. I'm gonna throw a batarang at you. Yeah.
Oh. But like, slow motion, oh my god. He grabs the batarang out of the air. And this is what we talked about earlier, where he's like, oh, I need friends. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I wish I had context, you know, where you're being a complete loner.
Yeah. Or, give us a scene where we feel sorry for you, because like I said, the whole dog scene, I was like, you're an arrogant asshole. No wonder you have no friends.
It's very neurotic. But
a little bit.
yeah, I mean, maybe if it was more like Peter Parker from Spider-Man 1, I'd be more behind him, but that would require we have context, which we don't have, because this is the first time we're seeing him.
Yeah. And he's just telling us he has no friends, and we're like, well, from what we've seen, you're a bit of a dick.
Yeah, and you have no problem talking to people, so what's the issue?
Yeah.
Oh, it's... Don't you just love it when films tell us things as opposed to showing them to us?
Yeah.
You mean like Superman?
Oh my god.
Hello.
He's back.
Yes.
I don't mind it when films tell us things sometimes, if it's like in the context of the character's thoughts, which they literally can't say from their mouths because obviously it's their thought. That
Okay.
I'm okay with.
So I'm also okay. Okay, so let's go to Revenge of the Sith. I'm okay with characters telling us things as if it was the opera scene where Palpatine is telling Anakin about Darth Plagueis the Wise, because it's lore building. Telling us history, relating to things and metaphor and all of that based
But
on...
literally, yeah.
But it's like, oh, I have no friends. It's like, oh, okay, I guess.
That's something, yeah. That's something you could show.
But this is why starting here at this point in life of Barry Allen is really detrimental to the storytelling of this film, because you're like, oh, I guess you don't have friends, but it's like, we don't see it. You're telling it to us.
Yeah.
It's like in Wonder Woman 84 where they're like, haha, and it's like, is she?
Oh, you cut out slightly.
Sorry. It's like the bit where Diana goes, haha, you're so funny, and I'm like, is she?
Oh god,
we didn't get to see her be funny.
I definitely felt that more with Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, it's like,
whereas
don't show the film.
Whereas with this scene with Barry, I kind of put it together from the way that he was acting.
Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, you're acting like a dick. It's gonna be hard for you to make friends.
There's more evidence than Wonder Woman. I will definitely give you that, but still, it's not enough to the point where saying it is redundant, you know? If saying is the best way to get the point across, yes, it's still not enough context being given.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, I have no friends. Okay.
It sounds like a song. I'm pretty sure it is a song.
Wouldn't shock me.
Somewhere out there's a song called that.
Yeah, it'll come to me. Anyway. Now we got the I'm rich joke. And see, this is one instance where it's like, oh, I burn through calories because of my metabolism and all of that. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're setting this up so that they can nerf him in the future, because the Flash at this point in time is very overpowered. Because once you have a speedster, you're like, oh, just use the Flash. That's the obvious answer. So I thought, oh, maybe they're using this hunger thing to nerf him a little bit, where it's like, okay, you got to be really selective about where in the battle you're going to be active, because you're going to be really fast and take out a lot of people, but you're also going to be the first one to run out of juice, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There is a song called No Friends, but there isn't a song called I Have No Friends.
Oh, No Friends. I guess maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. Or maybe it's like a Weird Al Yankovic song. I don't know. But it sounds like the sort of thing he'd do.
I found a playlist on Spotify called I Have No Friends, but that's okay.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Well, hopefully the songs are
That's
bangers.
funny. Hopefully. I might listen to it later, see what it sounds like.
So, yeah, it's a shame that this is the only time they bring up Flash's need to eat in this film. Like, I was really hoping they'd do more with it, but no. Oh,
I wanted to see him eat a bunch of food. I was like, that'd be funny.
like that's
Just in the middle of the fight. 1 sec, I need to eat a pizza all to myself.
David, I'm not sure about you, but Amy, have you heard of Tokyo Ghoul?
I have. I've watched it. I love it.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Cool. So
I haven't watched the most recent season yet, but I've watched seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, it's shit, but I finished it. It's fine.
Okay, fine.
Like it is really shit, but I kind of hate watched it because I don't know. There's something about that show that made me come back to it. The point I was going to make about it was that there are 3 types of ghouls in Tokyo Ghoul, which the one really fast, the really strong, and the area of attack ones. And it had a really cool way of balancing the ghouls, where the strong ones can take a lot of hits, but they're really slow. But the fast ones can dodge everything and do a lot of damage, but they get tired a lot faster, therefore they're vulnerable. And I thought that's what they were going to do with the Flash. You know, really fast, really explosive, really effective, but really vulnerable because they run out of juice really quick. But no, it's fine. Like, oh,
That would have been cool.
God damn, it's like there's a good film in here, but it's not.
No.
I do like the next scene where Alfred is stressing out because Wonder Woman's not making the cup of tea correctly.
Oh yeah, that was really funny. I did like that bit.
Like, purely because Alfred is just so stressed out and Jeremy Irons is just doing a phenomenal job. Oh.
Yeah.
But this is the first time.
She tried.
Yeah. This is the first time we get to see the reinforced gauntlets as well, where it absorbs the energy. So, attempts had plans and pay off because we're gonna need the gauntlets later. Muha.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the first time where Cyborg reaches out to Wonder Woman because it's like, oh, hey, I know you're tracking me, so come meet me, bro. So she does. And this is the point in the film where my dad just goes, oh, so Mercedes-Benz paid for this film, huh? And I was like, yeah, they did. Because Bruce Wayne's car is a concept car by Mercedes-Benz, and Wonder Woman's car is Mercedes-Benz. Hint, hint. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of cool. So Cyborg has the mother box with him, and he's not wearing any clothes. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And here we have I wish this conversation had a little bit of room to breathe in, because it's really interesting, because Cyborg doesn't see his powers as gifts, while Diana does. So hearing both those perspectives would have been really interesting to see what their mindsets are behind those thought process. You know, what constitutes as gifts and what doesn't, and all of that. But it's not. So much like this film, it's like a lot of it is like, oh, it could have been, but it's not.
Yeah.
So, and it's weird because considering we just had the scene where Cyborg was really happy flying and helping people, to him going back to, oh, this is a curse. I'm like, Cyborg, dude, you. If this scene came before him flying and doing all of that stuff, I would have been more okay with it. But now it feels like, oh, he took a step forward and he took that step right back in this scene.
Yeah, it feels as though the writing is a little backwards in a sense with that scene.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is why, like, the more I see of Chris Terrio's work, the more I'm convinced Argo was just Ben Affleck and Chris Terrio was just, like, a participation award.
Didn't Chris Terrio write The Rise of Skywalker?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
he did. Yes. Yeah. Fuck that film. Anyway. Oh, so he takes out all of the electricity in this block as well, and I'm like, wow, what a way to draw attention to yourself, dipshit. Because loads of people are going to be looking out the window going, what the hell's going on? And there's a big glowing red light in the middle of the street talking to a woman, and it's like, oh, that's kind of weird. So this guy wants to stay hidden, but he's literally putting a spotlight on himself, and it just makes no sense either. And then he goes to the cemetery to dig up a grave and bury the mother box under 2 inches of soil. And it's so deep that a dog walker on a weekend could find it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And I'm like, what was even the point? God, like my dad could find it when he's walking the dogs in the park. That's how badly it's hidden.
Yeah, that's a bit naff.
Oh. Oh my god. And then the next stupid part is they're back in the lab and Silas is being talked to by the Atom saying, oh, we've learned how to superheat material to the temperature of the sun. And I'm like, oh, so we should all be dead right now, right? Because it's the temperature of the sun.
Yep.
And
Sounds
like,
about right.
God damn, like, this film. It's like, they're talking about it's like, oh, yes, we've done this because reasons. It's like, oh, okay. Interesting. It's like, what? It's just fucking hell. So you're telling me Kryptonian metal and the mother box can withstand the temperature of the sun and not have any effect, and the surrounding area will not feel any of the heat? Like, what the fuck is this? It's no, just no is all I'm gonna say.
That's fair.
But it's okay because Silas comes back home and turns out that the mother box is missing, and he's all sad because he thinks Victor's kind of having a bad day. And I'm wondering, Silas, bro, could you not see the big fuck off bug standing next to you the entire time? Like, it's not exactly one of the bugs from A Bug's Life. Like, this is a full-on fucking gigantic bug with glowing red eyes. How did you miss him? Where was he hiding all this time? Like, what's...
Is in the corner with the lights out?
I just love the fact that you referenced Bugs Life.
Well, it makes more sense.
It does.
Like, it's not exactly a dung beetle on the corner of the fucking room. Like, this is a human-sized bug. Like, I hate... This is something I despise in film and TV, and it's something that's been happening so much recently. Where, oh my god, it's like, look at this incredible reveal of a character that you didn't know existed coming onto screen and scaring our protagonist, and I'm like, oh, but you do realize peripheral vision exists.
Apparently, it doesn't in this film.
Honestly, the Umbrella Academy was one of the worst ones for that, because it was so many times when a fight should have ended, a character from off screen comes along and tackles the person extending the fight, and I'm like, fuck's sake, just end. I don't like it if you haven't noticed.
I've noticed.
But yes. Oh, we get, swanky Jim Gordon next.
J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons.
I forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons with the swagger and the haircut. I'm like, God damn, I want you in a Batman film.
That would have been great.
I'd be fine with that.
I'd love to see that.
And it's like, oh, like people
Make it happen.
Well, hashtag restore the Snyderverse is trending, so who fucking knows?
Yeah.
I think they'll probably leave it where it is.
Me too. I just hope that they just start fresh, bend this universe and start fresh.
Yeah, just come on now.
This is a broken universe. Like,
it's not repairable.
At this point, you're like, what, 8 or 9 films in deep, and you're just a mess. Please, just drop it. Like, the Dark Universe is the meme, right? But at least they had the common sense on not wasting any more money on that franchise.
I'll never get over the photo shoot that they did with all of the actors that were going to be involved.
It's like they jumped ahead, they fucked up, and they said, "Nah, we're out, bro. Blumhouse, take over." Whereas DC is like, "We can do it." It's like, just start over, man. Start fresh. That's all I want. And have a definitive
Flash
plan.
movie, though.
Oh god, if it ever happens.
I want a good Flash movie, but
big fucking asterisk there.
I want a Flash movie, but I want it to be good.
Yeah. I just want a good film. Like, I'm just waiting for a good film in the DC universe.
That's fair.
But oh, we got this absolutely needed scene of where Silas comes down, is carried by the big bugs, tossed against the wall, and that's it. We needed that scene, I guess.
Yeah.
But now, Bruce Wayne is there meeting Diana with the Barry, and the bat signal's up, and I kind of thought it was endearing that Barry is geeking out over the fact that, oh my god, it's your symbol kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is this is a very different Barry from the comics, isn't it? So, I mean, then again,
I thought that's I get where you're coming from with how it was kind of endearing in that scene, but at the same time, I also felt very awkward when he did that at the same time.
Like, it was meant to be like, oh my god, he's looking up to his hero kind of thing, but it's like, in actuality, like, Batman's a serial murderer in this universe. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, come on.
He has killed many people.
Like, context matters.
It's like they think we forgot about BBS.
Oh,
yeah.
And
or they were hoping we forgot about it. They were just like, no one remembers that movie. It's
so
fine.
Batman's a hero. He doesn't hurt people. He doesn't kill them.
He doesn't brand them.
This is a fascinating scene because Barry's geeking out about Wonder Woman and Batman, and I'm like, so Batman's a serial murderer and Wonder Woman's a rapist. Not the best role models to have, let's be honest.
Oh, like, I know you were going for Dark Snyder, but I mean, I know it's not his fault with Wonder Woman,
yeah.
But yeah.
And plus, Wonder Woman happened years later.
True, yeah. And it's like, I think everyone was taken aback by Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
It was just a weird choice, really, and I have to question Patty Jenkins, like, where her mind's at, really.
I want to know what man broke her heart. That's all I want to know.
I just want to know her reason because she just seemed to latch on to other people's defenses of her, and I was like, that's stupid.
I
Stupid defense.
This is something I hope all directors stop doing, and that is stop trying to explain their films online. Please stop doing that.
Yeah. Like, she put it in a Twitter post of, this is why, and I'm like, that's bullshit. That guy just came up with it to try and defend you, and you're latching onto it.
I know, and it's like, oh, and it's like posthumously explaining things that should have been in the film. I'm like, oh, just put it in the film to begin with.
Yeah. I kind of feel like she didn't realize what the implications were, and I was like, if that's the case, just own up to it and just realize that you didn't understand how, like, what you were doing was bad.
That film will haunt us forever.
Yeah.
But it gave us Harry.
Yeah, true. The other thing I'm concerned about is she did it on purpose, and she just won't own up to it. And that's even worse. That's quite worrying.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hashtag Harry deserved better.
He did.
He did deserve better.
It's like, I want Harry to be the poster child for what we watch. Just
he can be he can be the mascot.
Our mascot Harry. It's like, who's Harry? Oh, you know, the guy that Wonder Woman raped in Wonder Woman 84. People are gonna be like, fucking what? Why?
Yeah.
Like, he deserved better. So yeah, he's geeking out about these two criminals, hardcore, not even nice criminals, just hardcore criminals. And they go to meet Jim Gordon. And now we're in Atlantis. And we already spoke about it briefly in the previous episode, where it's like, oh, it's kind of cool that they've got this echolocation version of talking in water, like fucking dolphins and air bubbles for actual speech, which is disregarded in Aquaman altogether.
No, Justice League stuff, but yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah. Turns out King Orm is...
I much prefer James Wan's Aquaman. Atlantis, well, I will say that.
The setting is beautiful. I will give it that. It's a gorgeous city, but the film is all over the place.
It is.
Like, goddamn, like...
I remember walking out of it and I was like, I enjoyed that, I think.
I mean, it was broken, but it was fun.
It was fun, but there was also moments where I was like, huh.
That, like, why...
And then I also had confusion over Julie Andrews as
Julie Andrews as a fucking cracker.
Big
hell yeah.
kaiju.
like Mary Poppins as fucking Godzilla. Hell yes.
I'll see that movie.
I've watched that movie.
You know what I love about that? It's like Mary Poppins, like Julie Andrews was in Aquaman, and they had Mary Poppins come out the same month, and Aquaman did better. And that just makes me laugh. Like, Julie Andrews still came out on top. Don't mess with Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the scene where Steppenwolf comes down and tries to take the Mother Box from Atlantis. And we find just how incompetent Atlanteans are, because they all die. And
they do.
Mera, who is the only person who managed to, halt him for some amount of time, is the person that Steppenwolf is taking the most amount of time with. And I'm like, why though? Shouldn't that be the one you go after first?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Like, you always go for the most powerful first. Or actually, I don't know. Sometimes it's easier to take the minions out first.
Okay, so I'm of two minds about this. So you can approach this in two ways. Like, the way I approach Final Fantasy VII is you take out the minions and then you just go hardcore and rip the leader apart with extreme prejudice without holding anything back. Or if we're talking about like a PvP, like in a team match, like League of Legends or something like that, you take out the healer first, in which case the most valuable player in the team, which in this case is Mera. So you take out Mera first and then go pick off everyone else slowly. Either one could have worked, but this is having the
Yeah.
best of both worlds and not making sense.
Also, it was very hard to watch Amber Heard in this film without being a little bit angry.
I was thinking, well,
Well,
Johnny
this
Depp's
is
not getting this work
awkward.
anymore.
Yeah.
It was one of those where she came on screen and I was like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah, I was.
She came on screen and I was just like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. But it was like really hard not to. I was just like, nah, okay, I'm just gonna have to deal with the fact that I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this actor.
Yeah, I wasn't
It's hard
comfortable either.
It's hard to separate, so it's like,
Yeah, it's so hard not to think about the meta narrative around her while watching this film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I always feel that way if there's like an actor who's done something.
Yeah.
Like Kevin
and-
Spacey. I can't watch a film of
Exactly.
this again.
I can cope with Baby Driver because I know he gets ran over in that, so that's how I cope with that.
The crazy thing for me is I watched 7 after the Kevin Spacey debacle.
Oh, well, that's apt.
Oh, that. Nah.
So that was even more of an uncomfortable film.
I can imagine.
I never finished House of Cards, and honestly, I've never seen Usual Suspects, and I'm sad because it'll probably be really hard to watch it now.
It's a shame because Usual Suspects is a fantastic film.
I
It's
know.
a shame.
It is a good film.
I will probably watch it, but I'll probably be very uncomfortable while watching
Imagine
it.
it's Christopher Plummer.
Unfortunately. Okay.
All the money in the world.
I wonder who remembers that film. Jeez.
I remember the situation surrounding the film
Me
more so
too.
than the film itself.
Exactly, that's why I said it. But and it sucks as well because the entire time I'm thinking, oh, Amber Heard, bitch. But at the same time, she's proper Avatar: The Last Airbender, waterbending Steppenwolf, you know? And it's like, what she's doing is really cool. But I'm also imagining her doing this to Johnny Depp now, and that kind of makes me sad for Johnny Depp. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in the situation, both of them were pretty shit to each other.
Yeah. But it's like,
So he's not completely innocent.
he's
I
not
don't
innocent.
think.
They're both
No.
they both behaved in a very toxic way, of course. But it's
Yeah.
my big issue is the way the media went after him more than her. That's my
I
big
know.
issue.
I know she definitely had an advantage because of being a woman,
Yeah.
and she used that, and she also used it to make him look even worse, and that's just why I find her a despicable human being, as well as the fact that she was donating to a charity for domestic abuse, and then she was actively
Oh god, yeah.
hitting
Oh.
someone, and I'm like, that's not okay. I don't care if he was horrible to you first. It doesn't make it okay for you to hit him back.
Have you listened to the phone conversation that
I as soon as I heard that phone conversation, I was like, I hate this person.
That was rough listening to.
It was disgusting. I was just like, I hate you so much. It just makes me angry because it's like, women who try to talk about domestic abuse already get shut down, and then you have people doing this shit, and it's just like, stop it. Sorry, got a bit heated there.
It's fine. But
It
this
just
is
made me very
why,
angry.
like, I want to bring this up, seeing as we're on the topic. Like, we are all on the same page that Amber Heard got off so easy compared to Johnny Depp,
Absolutely.
who lost all his work.
Yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
But the
yeah,
fact
definitely.
that they brought her back for reshoots,
I was shocked by
I
that.
was not
Pisses
happy
me
about
off.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Oh, you finish yours first.
I was like, I'm sorry, fire both of them. They were both toxic. Treat them
Yeah.
both the same. Why does she
Exactly.
get off easier? No.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Like, I get that the meta narrative around this film is incredibly positive, but
Yeah.
bringing Amber Heard really dampened my mood about this film.
Oh, definitely.
I was legitimately shocked when she turned up. Like everyone else who showed up in that scene, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like for this scene, I get it. But then when Amber Heard rolled up, I was like, wait, what? She was invited back?
Yeah, I was like, why?
And of all the people, like that was a recent shoot as well, so it wasn't even original. Why did it have to be her?
That's what I was thinking.
Why
That's
couldn't you get someone else? Because hasn't she been fired from any future like Aquaman projects?
No,
There's
she's still involved in Aquaman too.
There's
Really?
still
Oh
petitions,
my
but she's not fired.
God.
No.
Oh,
Not yet. May happen, but not yet.
she needs to get fired. I think the reason Johnny Depp got fired and not her is because he literally tried to sue a newspaper, and Warner Brothers were like, "Nah, we can't be having that. You're fired," which is messed up.
But yeah, like if they both got treated the same, I would be fine with it. But they weren't, and that's my big fucking issue with this.
Definitely.
But yeah, that being said, it's a shame that she's the one who did one of the coolest things against Steppenwolf, which is suck the blood from his nose. And I'm like, God damn it, that's proper Avatar shit, and I can't enjoy it because it's her doing it.
Yeah.
But you
It's
know,
annoying.
it's really fucking convenient that Arthur decides to come at this exact moment. A minute sooner or a minute less, and he would have been killed or everyone else would have died. Ain't that convenient? And he doesn't even do much. He gets his ass handed to him pretty easily in his element. Like Steppenwolf, the space being.
Doesn't Aquaman say later in the film, remember me?
I know, it's like, motherfucker, you got demolished by Steppenwolf in your hometown. You don't get to be badass right now.
That was his death.
Yeah. Like, if the tables were reversed, if Aquaman got beaten above ground, and then he was underground, and he was underwater the second time round, I'd be like, okay, fair enough, rematch time. But it's like, it's reversed here, and I don't get it. Like where Aquaman should have the advantage is underperforming. I don't understand that logic. But it's okay, because Aquaman loses, Steppenwolf takes the box, and he leaves. And I love the fact that Mera's parents are dead, but in Aquaman, they have a pivotal role.
Yeah, that was a big inconsistency with Aquaman, but it's again one of those things where I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, Aquaman came after, so it's like Aquaman is contradicting this film as opposed to the other way round, and I would imagine they were going with theatrical cut as well.
Okay, so here's the thing. I would be totally on your side, David. But James Wan and Patty Jenkins said they were making the films according to Zack's Justice League.
Then in that case, forget what I said.
Yeah, filthy liars.
Wow. That's the thing. That's so, like that version of Aquaman
that blows up all the inconsistencies. Then
I know, right? Like that version of Aquaman in James Wan's film is so different from this version. Like it has more in common with Justice League compared to Zactus League. It's
That's
weird.
so weird.
That's very weird.
That's so strange.
But we do get to see Aquaman topless.
We do.
That happens a lot.
I don't hate it.
Like, I was watching this YouTuber called Anna, the Star Wars girl, and she was saying, you know, when I was going to watch Aquaman, I was promised Jason Momoa topless, and I only got 6 minutes of that. False advertising. I was so tongue-in-cheek, the joke, and I was so for it. I love watching her videos. She gets so passionate about the most minuscule things. It's great.
My video is on its way. I just need to finish it eventually.
Oh, nice. I mean, you did record more of it the other day, didn't you? So
I
it's
did,
getting
yeah.
there.
I got through a big chunk of my script. I got through like 5 pages, and it's 10 pages, so nice. Halfway there.
Cool.
Oh,
I'm
that just
three,
reminded me.
I'm 3 pages into recording part 4 with Ilona Holmes, so
Ooh.
ooh,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be spicy. Like, oh, so many women on Twitter are gonna hate me for that, and I'm so looking
Oh
forward
no.
to it.
You're gonna get cancelled, man.
Oh,
Cancelled
try.
before you've even started.
Oh, cancelled before starting. You can try. Oh, because I'm up to that point where Henry Cavill is talking to the black woman in the bakery, and it's that big moment where it's like all the memes are starting up where it's like, ah, women are powerful, and I'm like, oh, but that speech makes no sense. Here's my reasoning why. You're not gonna listen to it, but here it is.
Yeah.
So that's why this video is taking so much longer than the previous one, because I have to make sure my argument is ironclad,
Yeah.
because it is such a scene. It's like saying, oh, Spider-Man 2 shit. You just don't do that without concrete evidence, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we've come to Cyborg finding out that his dad's been taken, and Steppenwolf opening up the big dome over the football field.
She do?
Yeah, and tells, oh hey, Desaad, my brother, I've got 2 boxes now, just one more. And that's the end of the part.
Oh, wow.
Are we done with part 3 and 4?
No, part 3.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Um,
say, that was quick.
oh, no, that was all just part... Yeah, we've spoken for 2 hours on part 3 alone.
Wow.
So,
That means
yeah.
the latter parts are going to be interesting.
I know,
Mhm.
right? We breezed through parts 1 and 2, but it's like I said at the start of this, the longer this film goes on, the more it breaks apart.
Yeah.
But
Because
now we have a judgment call. Do you want to reconvene another time for part 4 separately? Or do you want to try doing it today?
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know either, because it might take us a while to get through part 4, because it's very long.
Yeah, part 4, 5, and 6. We're officially on the second half of the film, starting in part 4, or almost halfway through. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I'm thinking maybe we do like one at the weekend, one midweek, so that we're on top of it. So maybe coming back on Wednesday to do part 4 for a couple of
Yeah.
hours.
Sounds
Yeah,
good to me.
That sounds better. Like, yeah, because I don't think we'll get it covered in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I think it's good to stick to like 11:30 cut-off time.
I
Yeah.
think so
And
as
if
well.
we do part 4, it's gonna go over.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, we should probably reconvene.
I think so
Sweet.
as well.
Welcome to behind the scenes of what we watch.
I do have an interesting question for you guys though.
Oh
Ooh,
no.
that'd be
Up to
fun
this
to end
point
on.
in the film, which is your favorite segment? Parts
Favorite
1, 2, or 3?
Probably 1, because it has the least amount of issues,
Mm.
but also the least amount happens in it.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm in a very unique position because I have all of these criticisms about this film, but I also really love this film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3 because I really like Cyborg.
Yeah, fair. I do like that scene despite its real world inconsistent consequence.
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I mean. Like,
waitress.
I'm going off enjoyment, not whether it made
Yeah.
sense.
So if you're
Part 3
asking
is the
me,
part where I enjoyed.
so if you're going to be asking me, oh, a different question of, oh, which do I like better, and which do I intellectually think is better, then I'd say 1 is intellectually better because not much happens and it doesn't break the film. Whereas if I were to be going off pure enjoyment, I'd say part 3 as well.
I'd say part 3 as well.
Okay. So that's which. So we all unanimously enjoy part 3 the most emotionally, intellectually.
I would say so.
Which one do you think is the best intellectually?
I do agree with you on one.
Probably part 1, yeah.
Didn't enjoy part 1 because I was like, nothing's happening.
By virtue of nothing happening, it is the best because it doesn't have an opportunity of breaking anything.
I mean, part 2 is the big action set piece with the dark side flashback, and then that ties into all the other dark side nonsense. So
The
it's
dark side nonsense. I love that.
so it's like part 2. I may enjoy it, but it's like it also has
in the grand scheme of
to
things,
go.
it does a lot of
It
damage.
has issues to go along with it, and I'm just like, maybe not.
Yeah. And in part 1, we established that Queen Hippolyta has a higher body count compared to Steppenwolf because she had the genius plan of submerging her defense underwater.
Yep.
Do you know, I was telling David earlier for the 18th when we were having the group discussion, I was planning on watching the Justice is Grey version, Justice League, and Zactus League, so I have full context for everything. And like at this point, considering the sheer amount of problems we have, I'm genuinely curious. Watching Justice League now, would I actually think it's better or not, writing wise? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, I think that would be an interesting debate. Personally, I haven't seen it since cinema, but I do feel as though the Zack Snyder version is much better than the theatrical cut.
Oh well, if
not just from a personal enjoyment level, I genuinely think that it's better.
Fair enough. I mean, if anyone's gonna have a hot take on this panel, it's probably gonna be me. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is our 30th episode, and so far, of the main topics that we've talked about, we've all agreed that Blind Manor is where we all land on the same side of the boat. Every time, every other time, we've always had a hot take against the grain.
Yep.
I mean, who would have thought BVS would come out on top in this journey?
It's weird.
I might not go there, but
oh, Amy's my homie though. Like, she knows the struggle.
Yeah, we went through.
We went through
hell.
We went through all 7 layers of Dante's hell.
We did.
It's like I said, I like Batfleck in that film. It's everything else.
Yeah. Oh, believe you me, it's the same with us. I'm
pretty
sure
that's just how bad we see the other films.
God, yeah. Like,
the other films are just so much worse in our opinion.
I know. It's weird
it's
because
very weird.
We're saying Batman v Superman is the best of the lot, but believe you me, it's like everything else is like between Wonder Woman, BVS, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman 84, and this, like, they're all around 2 out of 10 and 4 out of 10. So we're literally measuring decimal points at this point. Like, it's not like, oh, one's a 7, one's an 8, one's a 3. No. It's all between 2 and 4. It's just decimal points separating them.
Literally, the only thing that made Batman v Superman go on top is the coherent story, and that's the extended version. The regular version, no, that's a hot mess.
The regular versions, yeah, my god.
It's one of those where when you compare the theatrical cut to the Ultimate Edition, it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, does it make more sense? Yeah, of course, it definitely does. But at the same time, I'm like, do I enjoy it?
It's still shit.
No, not really.
I didn't enjoy it either. But like, if you ask out of all of them, which ones I think make sense, I have to go for Batman v Superman because the rest of them, I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
I'm on the exact same boat. Like, it's on top by virtue of the fact that it doesn't break as hard as everything else. Oh.
It's not an Easter egg that you drop on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty accurate description, I would say.
Jeez. But Yeah, this has been quite the arc we have been through, and none of the results have gone according to plan.
Nope.
So, all bets are off on the 18th. Oh, I do have possible guests coming, so hey, it might be a very interesting episode. I'm hoping to actually stream that one because,
Cool.
like, it would be really interesting to have that live discussion.
Yeah.
Go back to a Sunday kind of thing going on. Like, I do have something I want to suggest to you guys, but we'll leave that till after this episode is done recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you guys have any final thoughts on part 3 of this alleged film?
I would say that I like some of the character work with Barry and Vic Stone, and yeah, that's about it.
I like Vic Stone. I think Barry's a bit too arrogant for me in this bit, but that's just me.
I would agree with you there. Like, Barry, especially his introduction, was very, very cocky. And if we're going to be comparing him, like, I'm so glad I've watched the Flash TV show because I'm like, oh, at least I have a version of Flash I like on live action.
I like the Grant Gustin version of Flash as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it a watch.
Like, I've only seen season 1, but even then I'm like, do you know, Grant Gustin, you are Barry Allen. I can believe that. Whereas Ezra Miller, I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's one of those things where with the Flash TV show, there are many ups and downs, but I'm always like, Grant Gustin is great as
like,
Barry Allen.
It's like Stephen Amell in Arrow. Like, the stories ended up being crap, but Stephen Amell as Arrow was consistent.
Absolutely.
In terms of performance, at least.
And then in terms of characterization as well, I'd say that I much prefer the Grant Gustin version as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I find it funny that whatever you thought you knew about the characters from the comics or from the previous iterations means jack shit in this universe. Superman's grumpy, Batman's a murderer, Wonder Woman's a rapist, Flash is arrogant, and Aquaman is a drunk.
Oh, Aquaman's an alcoholic.
And Cyborg is depressed, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Cyborg is depressed and has access to nukes, guys. It's not a good combo.
But yeah, it's, I mean,
it's a Snyder film.
This is true. Like, as we've talked about each part so far, each part has taken us longer to get through. So,
yeah.
Oh boy. Even though we took 5 weeks to talk about this in totality, it might still not be enough. God damn. Like, even when we take the time, it's not enough. God.
I mean, after part 4, we've still got 2 more parts, and then there's the epilogue.
I know, exactly. But at least we've got
the epilogue.
Imagine if we spend more time on the epilogue than any other part, and that's the shortest part.
I am fully expecting us to be honest.
Oh,
that was the part where I was literally every 5 minutes. I was like, really.
Like, even me, I love the film, but even I was going, just fucking end. Just in pain, just fucking end. You don't need this to end.
I was like, did I miss the Joker bit? And then I was like, oh no, it's in the epilogue. And it didn't need to be there. And I was like, oh, okay.
And you know what? You promised me we live in a society. I didn't even get it.
I know. I was waiting for him to say that, and I was like, okay, he doesn't even say it. And I was like, he does not.
Idea as well.
I was like, he does not even look a little bit like Jesus. Disappointing.
Where's the thorns, bro? I want
Where
it.
is his Jesus outfit?
Where is Jesus?
Jesus Joker.
Where is Jesus Hoka? Oh my god.
Also, I feel like he was doing a really weird thing with his voice, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. I mean, slightly better than Suicide Squad, but that's not really saying much.
This is like a totally different Joker, and I'm like, this. I don't know.
I mean, at this point in time in our DC arc, is it even a surprise?
No.
I feel as though the Snyder films are to themselves like it's just a trilogy.
Like, that's the thing. Like, the Snyder stuff is its own thing and contradicts each other. Wonder Woman stuff is its own stuff and contradicts each other. Aquaman is in a whole other universe, and it's just
Do you want to know what it makes me think of?
oh my X-Men.
Do you know in Avengers Endgame where they go through all the time travel and it's explained that when they time travel, then with each time travel and every change that they make, it creates like another reality.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Kind of like that. It's
here.
another
It's the Flash,
stream.
the
Like
fucker.
you've got this.
It's the Flash's fault, guys.
Ilaria was right from the beginning. It's always the Flash.
She knew.
She knew. Oh my god. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much us done
I think
talking
that was
about part 3. Unless you guys have
Yeah.
anything to finish up on.
Nope.
No,
That's
that's it.
Alrighty then. Well, a bit of a shorter episode, but believe you me, that just means we'll be taking longer for the others. So, thank you everyone for watching up until this point in the episode. We hope you had a wonderful time. And we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta,
Bye-bye.
cheerio.
Bye bye now.